I'm
Sure.
J.K. Colemansberger, one of the co-founders with Brian of VisiQuate. Official title is president, but tend to do a lot in both the sales side and servicing clients.
He always forgets chief client officer, though.
Kindness.
I mean,
Always
he's
kind.
the master of clients.
He is always kind.
Well, thank you.
Yes, always. Brian.
Well, I'm Brian, founder and CEO of VisiQuate. And yeah, JK and I go back 20 years across two companies,
Yeah.
slinging data in
Okay.
the business side of healthcare and highly focused on what we call peak business health.
Okay.
But it's how do we use the power of data to get the business side of healthcare healthy? So from a data, unit economics, metrics, KPIs, that's our whole life, data.
It is.
Yeah.
You lean forward into that
Hence
very, very early.
Data Rockstar t-shirt, just for you.
Love it. I appreciate that. So RCM Connections is our magazine for July, and I'm featuring entrepreneurs that are helping RCM. And I thought of you guys initially. I mean, it's you guys. So when we talk about that, and we talk about your positions, thank you. How did you get here? How did you get in healthcare revenue cycle?
Wow, good question, and thanks for having us too.
Oh,
By the way,
thank you. Always,
yeah, honored to be here
always,
with you
always.
guys. I kind of fell into it in the late '90s. I was working with a company that was purchased by WebMD,
Okay.
and we were doing Medicaid processing, and it became analytics was slowly becoming a thing in late '90s and early 2000s, and that's how I fell into it. It was more on the government side, more on the payer side. Met Brian in 2004, and then I jumped over to the provider side,
Okay.
and have been in it ever since.
Any influence, and Brian, I'll get to you, any influence in regards to any family members, anyone in healthcare that you thought, well, let me emulate or
not,
mimic?
not so much in healthcare, but I came from a family of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So I knew early on, when I was working for WebMD and then Medi-Analytics in the early 2000s, I always had the itch to get back into it and do our own thing. And met Brian in 2004, and he and I were very like-minded, and we wanted to figure out what was next and where's the industry going. So I've always had the itch to do startups, and we're now in year 15, right? So
I
we're
know,
far out from a startup, but we still feel like it's an entrepreneurial startup company.
Great.
Yeah.
And Brian, I know your stories are great.
Yeah.
So,
The way I tell this story is that, like, at the dinner table, my mom was nurse and hospital administrator. Dad was CPA and tax accountant. So usually I say that, and people go, "Oh, so you're an RCM guy?" Like, no, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I too just stumbled upon it. So early in my career out of college, I did a consulting. Just, hey, you should consult for this company, and they do this thing called medical coding. ICD-9 coding. And so literally did coding in college because a rowing buddy's dad was a surgeon and had a big medical practice. So I didn't get excited about coding and say I'm going to go have a career in healthcare.
Yeah.
I got that experience, and then 6 months later there was this position to install a new billing system for a large medical group, and did that and was taught the consulting game early.
okay.
And had my own consulting company pre-Medi in the 95 to 2000. Learned that the kind of consulting we wanted to do was through data. So everything was centric on data, and that led to Medi, where I came together with Jim Quist and some other guys, and we formed Medi Finance, which became Medi and Medi Analytics. And then, 15th anniversary for JK and I this August,
That's
the 9th.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I was doing my dates, and I went, 15.
It
We're
goes
coming up on
fast, yeah.
15.
It
Yeah,
goes fast.
absolutely.
But all about data
Absolutely.
for good, using data
Right.
to make the industry better and get return on data. That's
Right.
we're very addicted to client service and return on data.
We always were waiting for American Hospital Association or somebody to give us that data, or MAP, or somebody to give us that data. So let's really dig and find it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let's do it.
Yeah.
So mentors, I think that giving back, we believe in mentorship. I know you all very well.
Sure.
So any mentors that helped you along your path?
Yeah, and Brian and I were talking about this earlier. I come from a family of athletes and coaches, right? So when I think back to my earliest mentors, it was all around baseball coaches and football coaches. And my dad was a coach for 40 years. And, he was certainly a mentor. But the lessons, in sports are so similar to business. And we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
We hire a lot of ex-college athletes.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the work ethic and the preparation, it's all very similar. So I think of my earliest mentors, and it's absolutely those that coached me growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian?
One that comes to mind for me is actually my macroeconomics professor actually at a JC before I transferred to San Diego State.
Okay.
Took that in the summer, and it was a guy that he just had a way. And when you're young,
Yeah.
you're kind of half in the classroom and half maybe not. This guy just had a way to keep you drawn in. And there's a term that we use at VisiQuate that I'm kind of known for called total command.
Okay.
And some people think that I took it from a military book because that's used in the military.
Right.
I actually got it from him. And his thing is, if you're going to be in economics or finance or crunch numbers, you have to know your stuff. You can't know your stuff less 10%. Certainly not half. You have to know your stuff. And just the way he said it had an impact on me. And I started taking office hours with him because he was just a fascinating dude.
Okay.
And and he still lives in our area. And my son-in-law took a class with him, and I asked if I could sit in on it. And so I got to re-meet him 28 years later, or something like that.
And
But
summertime, it was a smaller class too.
Oh yeah.
What a gift that was
very
to be in a
intimate.
small class.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just had you
Yeah.
been in a fall semester with the 300. So yeah.
I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Get-
Always go to
get-
summer
get
school.
credits in the summer.
I do think it's like the VisiQuate sometimes gets asked. There's three people that we mix together in this formula. So like Steve Jobs, from an
absolutely.
Apple standpoint, because of the way he humanized form factors and hardware and software and made everything elegant. That's a big passion of ours. Richard Branson,
Okay.
in the style department, just the style, right? On an airplane flying from Santa Rosa to Vegas, why not have purple lights and
Right.
jazz music in the background?
And willingness to always talk and
Yeah.
be that person. Shaking hands.
And then the
Yes.
third is Tony Shea, rest in peace, from Zappos, and was acquired by Amazon. But just his tireless, commitment to clients, and he just oozed it. And so we read all of his books, and what a force for a guy so young.
Truly.
But he, that had an impact us in the founding years of VisiQuate. We wanted, what's our style, what's our personality going to be? So those are
Yeah.
the ones that J.K. and I collectively, and Megan and others, wanted to make sure they were part of our brand.
Right. Your culture is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
there's nothing more important. I think we're a technology company. We have great products, but we always say we're a people company first,
I agree.
right? People by people, and we just happen to build great software. And that's just the way we roll, and that's the way it's always going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I know early on some of our slogans didn't really pass the quota.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. But no, I think culture. So when you talk about mentors and we talk about having those people in our lives, so we have great positions in RCM right now. We really do, and how blessed are we? We really truly are. So how do we find and give back? How do we nurture our interns? How do we give back? And that people's problem solution, all of those things. So what are you all doing?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great internship program. Every summer we take a handful of interns, and we really try to challenge them, and we look at what they're great at and what their
Right.
passion is, and then we try to match them up, because in our industry you can do so many different
Right.
roles. You can be an analyst if you love crunching data. You can be behind the laptop crunching data all day,
Yep.
or you can be out servicing clients, like Brian mentioned, we're super passionate about the service model. And you find some of those people that just have that big personality, and the ones that are always looking out for other people,
Right.
they
Oh,
tend
yeah.
to be
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
client managers.
Yes.
And it's finding what people are great at and then getting them in that lane.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think when we find people that are really successful, they do what they're best at.
And how do you
Yeah.
do that? I mean, do you, hey, listen, I've got an uncle that's got a resume. I mean, how do you find your interns? How, because
A
programs.
lot of it comes our way through our networks,
Right.
right? And especially people that are close to us and they know that we take care of people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it can be challenging because you have to, relative to your size, you can only take so many
Right.
in your time. So it's mostly inbound.
Right.
That
I
and
agree.
that's fortunate. But what I would add to what JK said is we do live in a data economy now. There's no question about it. So with what we do, if you want to have any career in data scientist, data programmer, data analyst, it's looking for, it's showing them the path, like where do you have to be.
Right.
And it's going to be less about data wrangling. That'll all get automated. The whole industry still spends so much time on aggregation and wrangling.
Agreed.
That's all going to be automated. We're on the path. It's you got to be sharp, total command. You got to be sharp after the data's been curated. How are you going to action the data? So I always encourage people, what's a great, being in a persuasive position where you're using data to drive change, because that's a balance of IQ and EQ.
Right. Right.
It's not just crunching the numbers. The numbers tell a story, and it's what you do. How do you action what the numbers are saying?
So when we talk about our interns and we talk about people joining revenue cycle management, either on the provider side or the business partner side, what skill set? I get asked that question a lot. Should I take computer class? Should I take communication? I mean, what's your skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I think all, whether it's accounting, finance, economics, general business, I think they're all great backgrounds, and take as many classes as you can
Right.
in those areas. But at the same time, it's like, don't let your degree define you.
Right,
Because you see,
right.
I mean, you're 19, 20 in college, you don't know what you really want to do, right? That's all going to
Agreed.
evolve.
Agreed.
I know I didn't know when I was that age.
We're
but
still working on that, aren't we?
yeah, we're still figuring it all
we
out.
are, we
right?
are.
But
So-
yeah, that's the biggest advice I give to recent college grads is
Good.
don't let whatever your degree is, that doesn't mean you have to work in that area. Because once you're established and you're in and you're learning, nobody really cares what your degree is in. Your actions and your experience are going to speak for itself.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's behavior, mindset, and soft skills and EQ. My take is the world is more, and even just the white collar world, it's like 70% EQ.
Yeah.
And knowing things like PSYOPs and is just as important as being a number cruncher.
There are
We
ways
get
to
asked all
learn.
the time, what you guys do after they see a demo, it's so powerful. Why does every CFO and VP of Revenue Cycle, why do they not buy it instantly? Like, that'd be nice.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's because the world's complex, and they
It
have
is, it
procurement
is.
departments, and there's sales cycle dynamics, and so it's not about the idea, right? It's
Right.
about how you get your idea. You better have sharp ideas, but it's how do you get it through a system, and you got to be a people person, and corporate life is messy.
Yeah. And how can the organization use it? Do they have the teams? Do
Right,
they have the
right.
technology? Yeah. Well, you have the technology. So we talk about the end and kind of leaning forward, how we're changing it. We're changing it. Anna the bot was the first. And I remember, Anna came to market
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone was like, what's a bot? Do you remember the
She's
conversation?
she's had her 7th birthday already.
Yeah.
And you were the first.
Yeah.
She's
you were the
grown
first.
up, yeah.
she's
Yep.
growing up. And you were the first. So when we look to the future, and you are change makers, you're leaning forward into that. What would you like to see develop? What would you like? I don't know that change is the right word, but leaning forward, what would you like to see evolve? How's that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the buzzword everywhere is automation and
Right.
AI, right? So I know the industry is going to continue
Right.
to go in that direction. Our clients are begging for us to help automate the roles they have a hard time filling.
Right.
And where they can use a bot and automation and AI, they're going to continue to push us in that direction.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, which is great. I think that
Absolutely.
that's where the industry as a whole is going to continue to go, and you can see it as you walk the floor here at HFMA, right? Everybody's really saying the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
So, and I know Brian is passionate about this. He can talk for days about it.
Lots of time. I'll double down on soft skills, and then
Okay.
I think people have to work to their highest cognitive capability. So in the healthcare industry, it's often said like a doctor or nurse working to the top of their license.
Right.
If you just take everybody, you have to work to the top of your cognitive ability, because the mechanical stuff is going to be automated.
I
I
agree.
mean, 80% of what we do every day, we spend so much time with email and just, wrangling, herding cats, all the stuff we know. That stuff should get easier, which means we should all be able to work to higher degrees of that sort of cognitive index.
Right. And we're going to automate. It has to automate. I mean,
Yeah.
in regards to.
There's too much waste.
There
I mean,
is.
yeah.
There is. And so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A couple zingers.
Oh no.
Couple
Oh, good.
zingers.
The bonus
Ready?
round.
Bonus round.
Bonus round. Woo!
So, we're in Vegas.
Yep.
We're all better. You know, we Kentuckians, that
Yeah.
soul runs through. Rumor mill? Or who we betting on?
Yeah. So this in
JK.
the earlier question, here's why I like this question.
Okay.
All industries have, the rumor mill, the
Agreed.
grapevine. Like JK said, we're just getting started.
Absolutely.
So, every company has to go through and have finance partners and capital partners. And yeah, we're always active. Like our job, when are you raising money? Always. You're always raising money,
Absolutely.
right? You have
Yeah.
to, because you got to have ways to meet client needs that are beyond, what you have.
Technology is expensive.
So
It is, yeah.
we're
It's
we're
expensive.
always talking to bankers and capital partners, and we have since our inception. We're in a phase right now where we're just really looking at the next 5 years. We kind of plan things in 5-year cycles. So the next 5 years to us is like crazy exciting, because we've hit a threshold.
Congratulations, by the way.
AI and
I
machine
know.
learning are
Yes.
like.
And
you
I
know,
think the 5 years, what we're forecasting, are going to be very different.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing benchmarks with clients and with the hub and all of those things. It's changing. I mean, we are rolling out things that I thought would take 2 years in regards to economy and
Yeah.
database, and it's incredible. So,
people that are passionate and energetic about making a difference in healthcare are going to naturally use technology.
absolutely, I
right.
agree.
So people there are other people in the industry, and I won't name names, but this industry has its own, financial engineering and company roll-ups and consolidation and M&A, but, we're just in that camp of people that are still trying to do something big and meaningful. And so we're always looking for people to help us do that. Partnerships, inorganic growth, capital partners that have tremendous networks.
Right.
So earlier we left out, Amazon has a rule like day one thinking. It's we have a day one mindset, right?
Right.
We're just getting started.
And I think that's why you're in the seat you're in. We want to make a difference, and we want to make a change.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do what we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.